Check, check, check. Good morning. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Who we got in here? Ocean Alexander, good morning. Mr. B&B, Hermano, good morning. Olivier, good morning. JK, good morning. Orpheus, it's the same usual suspects, and I love to see it. Love to see it. All right, let's get started with the review of the watch list. I did start on SPY already, but I haven't done or looked at anything else. So let's do a review of SPY. We're going to go through this whole focus list together. So SPY, yeah, yesterday's sell-off, right? Pretty aggressive, really aggressive, actually. And I find this interesting. Over the past 2 trading days, we've had, let me screenshot this and show you, a very large move up, and we're including from here, right? So we've had, we're going to change this color so it's easier to see. We had a very large move up, and I mean, that's not so surprising, right, to have a large move up. But the more surprising thing is that large move up was followed by pretty much a full retracement back down. Usually, you don't see that. A lot of times, if you get a large move in one direction, you will get a pullback in the other direction, but typically only about half of the move, right? Before this curls back over and continues down or continues in the original direction. But this is a total reversal of this initial move up. And so it tells me that direction is not decided upon. If we're moving up and then moving back down, there's good money to be made going long. There's good money to be made going short, but this thing is back up. So are we overall bullish or are we overall bearish? We won't really know until I think this top resistance is broken or this bottom resistance is broken. Now, does that mean that we can't take a trade on this until this gets here or until this gets here? No, it doesn't. We can take advantage of the move because this is a really big move, right? Both days, we can take advantage of a move back up to that resistance or back down to that support. And that's what I intend to do today on SPY. So my levels that I've set, I'm basing this off of yesterday's resistance, and the pre-market high, 693, is going to be your long level today to go long on SPY. And then the price target's going to be somewhere up here, 697, 698. We'll be looking for that run back to the all-time highs. To the bottom side, all that I'm looking for, if this is an uptrend, which it is, with a series of higher lows on the way up, which it is, then I'm looking for a break of these higher lows, and I'm looking for lower lows to be established. Therefore, my short level is going to be set at 688.5 today. And I stand by both of these levels on SPY. I'll be honest with you, what I really want to see is a sell-off. I do, because I just want direction to be established. I am so tired of trading SPY up here. It has been over a month. It's been what is this? A month and a half now. A month and a half now, where SPY has been stuck in this zone between 680 and 695, roughly. This is not directional at all. There's a lot of, it's confusing. I mean, we're hitting the all-time high and we're pulling back, but it's not directional. So I would like to see some follow through from these big moves that we're experiencing. I would love to see a larger pullback, or if this doesn't want to pull back, I would love to see a breakout into the all-time highs. Just something to get SPY out of this zone would be welcoming for us as day traders. So I don't know where this fully goes from here. Like I said, direction has not truly been established. Yesterday seems like direction might be established. Rejection of the all-time high, bearish engulfing candlestick formed on the daily, testing that 50 EMA as a point of support. Surely a break of that 50 EMA brings this down much, much further. But we don't have that right now because SPY, like I said, is recovering. It is recovering from yesterday's drop move. So proceed with caution here going into today in terms of having a bias on direction. We don't know if we're going to be bullish here. We don't know if we're going to be bearish here. But what we do know is that we can identify the trend and the direction in real time, and that's going to be our job today. And then we just simply follow up in the direction that's being established. So that's my analysis, my technical analysis on SPY. I would welcome a flush. I would welcome an all-time high. I just want something outside of that month-and-a-half long range that SPY has been stuck in. Number 2 on the watch list is going to be MU. Now, this is our focus list stock. So let's remind ourselves on the daily. If you can't remember why stocks are making the watch list, always go back to the daily chart time frame and remind yourself why they're on the list. MU, remember, is trading at the all-time highs. It's starting to consolidate. You've got 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of consolidation in this range. So all that I'm looking for going into today is a break outside of this range. I would love to see a break of 400 for the direction to be established down, or the break of the all-time high for the direction to be established to the top side. Back to the 5-minute time frame, is this trading really close to 400? Not necessarily. It's trading closer to 405, maybe 410. Can we be aggressive on this and take a short under 405 or 410 down to 400? Possibly, right? If we go back and look at the daily, I know 400 is the whole number just below. That's going to be a natural point of support. But the true support here, the true lows of this range is actually closer to like $407. So going into the 5-minute time frame, we're looking for a break of 407 for the run down to 400. Break of 407.5 down to 400 is going to be the trade idea. So MU, let's go ahead and add this to the watch list. Up next on our focus list is going to be Hood. This one on the daily has been selling off. Remind yourself, right? If you don't know why this is on the watch list, go back to the daily chart time frame. Let's change the time axis here. And remind yourself of why this is on the watch list. Okay, Hood. It's a bear flag breakdown. Failure to hold the 200 EMA as a point of support. We're looking for the lower lows as this is selling off. Back to the 5-minute time frame. What do we see? Slight gap down this morning, trading close to the low for yesterday. This is easy analysis. It's going to be a short idea below $85. We don't have to go crazy with overcomplicating this. If all that we're looking for is the continuation move down, then let's set a trigger level right at yesterday's low of day, right? Could we take this long for a bounce move up? Yeah, possibly, right? I can see the support and resistance established here at 87.5. Could this recover and move? Sure. But is this primarily a bearish setup? Yes. Is that the main thing that we're looking for? Yes. So we don't necessarily have to set a long level here. You could if you wanted to, and then you would just be risking off of that PDC. If you think this is going to bounce today, I don't see the harm in doing that. But the stock is selling on the daily, so just keep in mind, we do kind of have a more bearish bias on this rather than a bullish one. So I like Hood as mainly as a short idea today. So we'll say long over 87.5 just in case this bounces. But to be really clear, all that we're mainly looking for is a move lower to continue the trend down. So we're going to say a continuation watch for lower lows, given the bear flag breakdown on the daily time frame and the failure to hold the 200 EMA as support. Okay, next one on the watch list is going to be Microsoft, MSFT. Yesterday's drop move on Microsoft establishes the direction. So remember on the daily, right, we're looking for this gap over here to be filled. That gap has partially been filled. given the breakdown yesterday. So the direction beyond the earnings report drop here has been established because we finally got an outside day beyond the first day after the earnings report. That means that our gap dropped down to 395, 400. This gap has been partially filled. Not totally filled, but partially filled. And there's still room below for this gap to be filled. So back to the 5-minute time frame, we're looking for the lower lows on Microsoft today. I'm not interested in taking this one long at all. It's only a bearish continuation trade idea for the gap fill to continue to give us lower lows. So we're watching for that today. It's going to be short at 409 or 408 and a half, or even 408. Any one of those levels works. $1 difference. If I were to set a level at 409 and you were to set one at 408, a $1 difference on a stock priced at $400 is not going to make a big difference. So if you need to see a true lower low, 408 and a half is going to be your level to watch for Microsoft today. All right, up next is NVIDIA. Daily chart time frame, remind yourself what we're looking at here. So we originally had a bullish idea on NVIDIA going into this week. With this trading close to this resistance up here, I thought that maybe that was going to break resistance and run, but that's not what we were given. We were given a rejection of that resistance and a move back down. So NVIDIA, I think that we just look for lower lows here today. No bullish bias on this at all. The failure to hold the 50 EMA as support, the failure to break out over the resistance overhead, the overall market was selling. We're looking for lower lows out of NVIDIA. This is because of where this is trading at. The short at 176 kind of feels pretty far away from the stock's current trade price. What we would need, if we're going to go short at 176, what we would need is NVIDIA to drop nearly over 2%. We would need NVIDIA to drop 2% before we even take an entry, and then we would need it to drop further for us to profit. So what we can probably do here is just tighten up this short level so that we allow ourselves a profit margin below, and then our price target can be 176 initially. So I don't like the short at 179. I think that that's probably too close to the current trade price, but perhaps just a short below 178 would work here. So NVIDIA below 178. And I'm going to put a couple of question marks beside this too, because I don't know, maybe we find something that looks a little better than NVIDIA and we can replace it, right? Because NVIDIA is not trading close to the true lower low here. So NVIDIA below 178, couple of question marks. We might replace that with something if we find something that looks better. Meta, next one on the watch list. Again, daily time frame. Remind yourself of why this is on the list. This is a gap fill continuation down to the bottom side. So there's your gap. We've identified that. Back to the 5-minute time frame. Gap starts here. The current trade price is here. This is exactly what we wanted to see on NVIDIA because it's easy for a stock to make a lower low if it's already trading right at the potential point of support. So this is a much better setup, in my opinion, than NVIDIA, and this would certainly take the place of NVIDIA. This gap fills at 678. You may want to mark that on your chart. So it's just easy analysis, short below 686. I'm not looking to take this one long today. So we'll go Meta below 686. And by the way, the difference between a main chart and a side chart item, usually it doesn't mean that one setup is better than the other. Typically for me, it's just if I'm only watching for one thing, I'll put it as a side chart, right? This is your side chart column. If I'm only looking for one thing, I'll just put it as a side chart because, you know, I don't have to put two levels there. But if I'm okay with, like on Hood, for example, we know Hood is extended down and Hood could potentially bounce. If I'm okay with going long and short on something, I'll just put it on the main chart. But it doesn't mean that one setup is better than the other. All right, AMD, next one on the watch list. So AMD post-earnings sell-off trade idea back to the daily time frame. The support of the gap is down here at 195, so I think it's important that we mark that. We know that 200 is a whole number. That's also going to be a potential point of support. Your 50 EMA is right here at 227. So where on the 5-minute time frame, where is all of this price action that we're seeing? Where is this in relation to all of those significant price points? Well, we just identified the 50 EMA right here, and conveniently, look, you got a bunch of reaction around that level. So if I were to go long on AMD today, it would probably be on the reclaim in that 50 EMA on the daily, which is right here at 228, which is also your pre-market resistance, right? It's pretty neat how that conveniently works out. But I'm not interested in going long on AMD today because the stock is selling. And if it's selling, I need to see if I actually go short on this, will we have enough profit margin down to the next major point of support to be able to actually take any profits on? And so that's why I did that on the daily, marking those 2 points. So from 216 down to 200, we are offered about 7%. I know it sounds crazy to look for a 7% drop after the stock is already down so much, but remember, this is after earnings. We expect to see some increased volatility here today. So AMD, we're going to go short idea below the pre-market low at $216 to continue the sell-off from the earnings report. And all that I really need to put here is it's just a post-earnings trade idea. So we'll do short below 16, and in parentheses I'll say, I'll say slash pre-market low, because we may have to go back and adjust this if this continues to sell prior to market open. Up next is going to be Apple. So Apple, one of our few bullish names on our list. Yesterday, the majority of the market sold off. Apple actually, it's choppy, but it actually held up pretty well. I did count this as a win on the day trade watch list results yesterday, and I'll tell you why. Because the break over here and the retest of 270 worked for your rally up. Then you get another break over here and the rally up above 270. That offers you profits. Then you get a break over here and a retest of 270 for the rally up. So there was profit offered above 270. Back to the 5-minute time frame. Can we go long above 270 today? No, we can't, because yesterday's high of day is a natural point of resistance. So 271 I do see as a point of resistance here, here, and here. Could we go long at 271? Yes. If we're going to do that, it's aggressive. We need to understand that there's going to be potential resistance at 272. So the problem with going long at 271 is it's risky, right? Because what happens if we go long here and it rallies there and then rejects? We may not be offered enough profit margin there to take profits on. So the safer thing today to do is going to be long above 272. But I'm okay with either one. If you want to be aggressive on Apple because it's showing the relative strength and it just broke out, and all it did basically yesterday was just have an inside day. This tells me it's still showing the relative strength. It wants to hold up and go. You can be aggressive on this. I don't mind that. Or if you need to be a little more conservative, you say, Gates, I need to see a true higher high. Long at 272 works as well. You would just be sacrificing a little bit of profit margin up to that 272 point. But, if this runs to 275, it's not going to matter if you take your entry at 271 or 272. So it just depends. Do you want to be aggressive on this, long at 271, or do you want to be a little more conservative, long at 272? Why is that not letting me click? There we go. 272. Either one I'm fine with. I like the idea of being aggressive on Apple because it's one of the few actually bullish setups that we have, whereas everything else that we've analyzed so far is all bearish. So we are going to add Apple here on the main chart watch list. I'm not looking to take this short. I'm only looking to go long above $271. And for the notes, we're going to say it's a continuation watch from the earnings report direction that was established 2 days ago. And if you don't know what that means, always reference back to the daily chart time frame. So what do we said? Earnings report direction. So this is your earnings, right? And then nothing happens. This is a range. Earnings, and then nothing happens. It's pretty much a flat move into earnings. Next day is pretty flat. and then you get direction that's established. So once that direction's established there, this is really important, you have a break of the downtrend trend line. That's confirmation number 1, okay? You've got a breakout of this range. That's confirmation number 2. You've got to move topside to reclaim that 50 EMA. That's confirmation number 3. And then, of course, whatever comes out from the fundamental side on earnings report, it's confirmation 4 to run this up. So I like Apple as a long idea only today to go long because of those 3 confirmations above 200. Ooh, it's already close to it. We're going to say 271. Oh, man, do we put 272 now? That candle right there changes things. Let's go 271, but with the understanding that we may move that to 272. So we'll leave it at 271 for now, and then we'll say / pre-market high, just how we did with AMD, so that everybody understands if we have to adjust this, we will, but as of right now, it's okay. This is actually really close to that level, though. We're probably going to wind up moving it. We'll leave it for now, but we'll probably wind up moving it. All right, we got 2 more. Tesla. Next one on the watch list, I included Tesla because, well, the support here is really clear, isn't it? Look, support, 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 yesterday, support. So I was thinking, well, maybe it breaks below 414 and gives us more of a sell-off. But it doesn't. It recovers into the end of day, and it's pretty much a flat open so far right at the previous day's closing price. This is not trading near 414, so I don't think that we are going to add Tesla to the list today. But I will set an alert at or below $414 in case this breaks down. We've got a potential trade there. But I think these other setups are better. This kind of reminds me of NVIDIA. The Tesla setup right now kind of reminds me of NVIDIA, where, yeah, we're looking for these lower lows, but it's not trading right at the breakdown point. If this was opened up, let's say it sold off in the pre-market and it was opening up right here, this is easy because all we have to do is look for the break of that support, right? But that's not the case. What makes this difficult is that Tesla has to drop from where it's at. It's got to drop down 1.6% to a known point of support, a strong point of support on the daily, and then it needs to break that support and then continue to sell off for us to even profit on that. Could it happen? Yes. Is it super likely to happen? Probably not. Right? Probably not. I think what's more likely to happen here is if you do get an aggressive sell-off, this probably validates support and bounces or consolidates here into the close before giving you that drop either at the end of day or later on. So I just don't see how this is in play for us today, especially, you know, us being options traders that mainly take advantage of the morning session. I don't see how this is in play for us today below 414. So we're going to omit Tesla from the watch list. It does not make the watch list today. Walmart, what a surprising name. What a surprising name. What a surprising run. Typically, you don't see runs like this on Walmart back to back to back, but we are getting it. So we may be a day late and $1 short here, but it's worth putting on the watch list for a continuation idea. This is a breakout, potential breakout or continuation into all-time highs. Beautiful bull flag here on the daily. I saw this at the beginning of the week. I should have been putting it on the watch list. I don't know why I didn't think to put that there, but maybe just because of the name. I just thought, Walmart typically, like I said, it does not make big moves back to back to back like this. Typically, you get little days on Walmart, little days that, trend, but are not big, massive runners. Since this is at the all-time highs, we do have a runner. And so it's kind of like MU when it was running and running and running and running, right? Watching for the break of $129 today. So Walmart, long above 129. Looking for new all-time highs following the recent run on the daily time frame and the breakout of the bull flag. We'll fix this typo here. Continuation. So that is it. That is our full focus list. I said we're going to narrow that down in the morning. We've got it narrowed down. So we're omitting Tesla. Now we need to go reference back to NVIDIA. Are we going to add NVIDIA to the list? Let's see. We're going to leave it for right now. We're going to go through everything else. If we find anything that looks better than NVIDIA, we'll put it in there. We'll put it on the watch list in place of NVIDIA. So here, look, we got Meta, right, already breaking below 686. So we're going to have to move this down to 684, and then adjust this on our watch list. So let's go short below 684, and then I have to put / pre-market low there. So everybody knows and it's clear. We just keep adjusting this down, adjusting it down as this continues to sell. All right, now as we're rolling through this watch list, this list over here on the left, what I'm looking at, and we're going to go through this really quickly, what I'm looking at is the pre-market price action. Boom, I'm looking right here. Boom, next chart, I'm looking right here, right? And I'm looking for anything that looks crazy, anything that looks out of the ordinary, anything that looks like I might have missed it, anything that has really high volume. You'll know it when you see it, right? And so we can just fly through these pretty quickly. Again, looking for anything out of the ordinary or something that doesn't look normal. I have 2 lines on MU here. MU is a short below 407.5. I'm going to delete this line below so I'm not confused on where I'm taking the position at today. I'm glad that we got direction established. Somebody asked me yesterday, they said, Gates, when are we starting the $5,000? When are we starting the next account challenge? When are we starting that $5,000 account challenge? Have you given the date yet? And I said, no, I haven't, because I'm waiting for these big earnings reports to get out of the way. You know, we've had big earnings this week. We've got Google this afternoon. I'm trying to wait for these big earnings reports to get out of the way. And there was a little delay with all of the geopolitical news that was going on, you know, with President Trump and these tariffs that have been threatened and then since retracted. And it's just been a wild kind of market that's highly influenced by fundamental factors right now, which is fairly difficult to trade. Up until this week, I've been sized down most days. And I'm finally starting to get more comfortable and confident with reading the market in the current conditions that we're being presented with. So as long as this kind of smooth feeling of the market conditions continues, we will start that account challenge soon. It's probably not going to be next week, but the week after. So probably not next week, but the week after. Don't hold me to that just yet, but that's the plan. So I hate to feel like, you know, I'm just promising this account challenge, promising the account challenge, and I'm not starting it. Trust me, it's going to happen. We are going to do it, but I just want to set us up for the best chances of success during this account challenge, and start it up at a time where, you know, we can actually make some decent profit and not have to worry about sizing down every single day. So as soon as we get these earnings reports out of the way, which should be this week, and then I want to take next week to see what the sentiment's going to be. If we get fairly clean price action for the remainder of this week and then going into next week, we'll start the challenge the week after that. But I'll put out an official announcement and let everybody know so that you have plenty of time to deposit funds into your account if you need to. So this is Uber here. This is what I would be looking for, right? Something that looks crazy like this, something out of the ordinary, something with high volume. So Uber is a post-earnings trade idea, but it doesn't look like this is very directional because look where it's trading at. It's trading pretty much right at the closing price from yesterday, right? And it sold off and then reversed. So I don't really want any part of this because it's not directional. It's not telling me anything about direction. It said, oh, we sold off. Oh, we're rallied back up. Okay, we're selling back off. And it's a flat, it's like there's nothing here that looks crazy enough for me to be like, okay, this is definitely bullish or this is definitely bearish. Nothing here has been established. So we're going to keep moving. I don't feel anything high probability there. SMCI, on the other hand, look at this. So post-earnings trade idea running up. SMCI to 33.5. Let's mark that pre-market high. Is this a significant point on the daily? Let's go to the daily and check. It is. It is. 33.5 is not only a reclaim of your 50 EMA, but it is also a break of this previous high over here, right? We can't make this up. People say technical analysis doesn't work. That's BS. This is a good example of when technicals, your technical analysis, this 33.5 point being a resistance prior, is meeting fundamentals. So technicals are meeting fundamentals here with the rejection at 33.5 in the pre-market. I like SMCI over 33.5. This may replace NVIDIA. I think that we're going to do it, actually. Let's take one more look back at NVIDIA, but I'm fairly certain this is a better setup. SMCI over 33.5. Let's go NVIDIA. Below, we said 178. Yeah, I mean, could this sell off? Yes, but I would just prefer if it was already opening here, right? Where something like Meta's doing that, where it's just opening at the support, so it's an easy drop down. This only is slightly confusing because if I go short earlier, what happens if this hits support and bounces? You know what I mean? So I do like, I hope I'm not making the wrong decision here, but I do like SMCI over NVIDIA. And so I'll set an alert here just in case this moves. Maybe we can reference back to it. We've already done the analysis, so we know what we're looking for. But in terms of making the watch list, this feels like a better setup to me. And you might make the argument that this is pretty far away from the pre-market high. I mean, it's a 4% move, right? But it's a post-earnings trade idea. We expect to see increased volatility here. And a break of 33.5, that's a big break. I mean, look at how sold off this is on the daily. If this stops, so this is all lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high. We can continue this trend line all the way down to here. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Now all of a sudden we get a gap up, and this is trading, the pre-market high hit that resistance. I mean, if this breaks that downtrend trend line, there's so much room for this to recover. First point of resistance above is going to be 36, but then beyond that, you start to look for a move back to $40. So there's a lot of profit margin that this can make up on the recovery move to the top side, and for that reason, I think it's a better setup than NVIDIA. Yeah, I'm going to stand by that choice. So post-earnings trade idea, expect to see increased volatility. Let's keep rolling through. Somebody said Meta dropped below 686. Yes, we have already noted that. So that's why it's really important when you're building out this watch list that you don't do it too early, right? Because if you build this watch list an hour ago, you're going to have to edit every level every 20 minutes. So the better thing to do is wait till about 45 minutes to market open, start your analysis, start building out this list, and then just before we send this watch list out, watch what we do. We do this every time too. We go back and make sure that all of our levels are good to go. I did miss a typo yesterday. That was my mistake on NVIDIA. I think I said short below 188, but it was already below 188. But we talked about it here, and it was a 185 that we had mentioned. But yeah, I'm not sure how that typo happened, but we always go back through and review every single one of these, and we're going to do that right now. I'm just going to pull this up here so I can see it. So let's start with SPY. And if you're just tuning in right now, you're late. But no worries, no worries. You can watch this stream back from the very beginning and make sure that you catch all that analysis if you really want to see it later on. So we start with SPY, long above 693. I like it. Short below 688.5. I like it. I am primarily bearish on this given yesterday's sell-off. I would love to see a break of this uptrend trend line right here. I would love to see lower lows. I'd love to see this dump all the way back down to yesterday's low of day. That would be fantastic for us today. Probably the best case scenario. Ideally, that's what we want out of SPY, but you know, I don't know. We've been in a reversal market, so I also would not be surprised to see this go right back up. Hopefully that's not the case, but we're only subject to the price action that is given, correct? Apple, next one on the list. We like this as a long above 271. That's a little risky because we got fake outs over 271, right? We got a couple fake outs here above 270, so we got to be careful with that. But I'm going to be aggressive on this because it is one of the few bullish setups, actually bullish setups, and it showed all that relative strength yesterday. So we like it above 271. AMD below 216 looks good. Walmart should be a long above 129. That one looks good. Hood, we've got two levels here, long at 87.5, which we're not super convinced that it's going to be a bullish day for Hood. but it's really beaten up on the daily, so we could see a slight reversal. It doesn't mean that I'm overall bearish on or bullish on the name, but maybe just for today we might be bullish. But the main thing we're looking for is going to be a break of that support below, so it's a short under $85. So that one looks good. Up next, we've got MU below 407.5. Yeah, this one just looks like it's ready to give us a larger correction. So we're looking for the break of that support on MU. We've got Microsoft below 408.5. Let's just make this a nice even level. Let's just go 408. So let's just slide that down to 408, make it nice and easy for us. We don't have to worry about that 50 cents. SMCI, next one on the list. We just looked at this, 33.5, looks good. And then we've got Meta, which is now below 684. So originally it was below 686. Then we set it to 684. That's why we put this little note right here, below 684 / pre-market low, because there's a good chance that even if I move this down right now, it continues to sell even lower. So just adjust if needed. It's going to be a short below 680 at this time. Short below 680. Wow, what a drop. Since we've started this analysis, Meta has dropped another $5. Yep. Okay, top stock pick of the day. I like Apple. I like Apple. I like Walmart because it's been running, but it feels like maybe Walmart might be done. I don't know. But I like Apple. And then top stock pick short. I mean, Meta is showing a lot of weakness right now. If I had to choose, it would be between Apple long and Meta short. Those would be my two top stock picks for the day. But of course, I'm willing to trade whatever moves and just ignore what doesn't. So here is your full watch list for today. By the way, if you're new to the Discord server, welcome in. We are live trading today, but I don't do the live trading here on YouTube because there's just a delay that I can't control. So the live trading will be conducted on the Discord server. Here's how you're going to navigate there. Discord server. Scroll all the way down to the bottom left-hand side. You're going to see a channel, voice channels, a channel called the Arena. Join into the Arena. You'll see people piled in there. I'm going to meet you there. Give me like 10 or 15 minutes, and I'll meet you over in the Arena. That is where we will be holding the live trading for the day. You don't get access to that unless you're a member of the Discord server. So everybody here watching on YouTube that are just subscribers on YouTube, good luck today with your trades off of this watch list. Make sure that you're waiting for proper confirmation prior to taking a trade. Understand that this whole watch list here, these are not price predictions, right? I'm not saying Apple is going to run today above 271. I'm not saying go long on Apple right at the open because it's going to run. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is think of it as if-then statements. If, then, THEN. If Apple breaks 271, then I take a trade. If Apple does not break 271, then I do not take the trade. So wait for your confirmations first prior to taking your entry. And if you need help with the confirmations, that's why we trade live. I'll give you all the confirmations in real time as we see it. Cool? All right, take care. Enjoy your day. Good luck today. Hope we get some clean price action for us to take advantage of, and I hope you make a lot of money. All right, we'll see you over in the Discord server for the live trading. Cheers.